Good evening, all of you. Honorable dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, scientists, leaders, young boys and girls who are assembled here, my greetings to you all on the occasion of this program, Scientist Interaction Program. And I'm really happy to interact with especially the younger generation who are going to be the future of India. And it is always a pleasure to listen to their questions, their vision, their plans for the future. I think that is where we find most pleasure. Like we do building rockets and satellites, this is also an important building activity of developing the new generation of scientists and engineers, technocrats, leaders for this nation. I'm very happy to come over to this Bharatiya Vigyan Sammelan today to meet all of you. And really an honor, I'm privileged. Thank you so much for this opportunity. If you really want to talk about science, technology, the future, I think we should all go back in history to look at how this all developed and how it is going to shape our future and what's the importance of technology for that country itself. Of course, I come from the space sector and I don't want to limit to that sector alone. I would like to speak a little beyond space sector. Because all of you know today that unless we marry science and technology as a nation and use it as a tool to build the power of this nation, it is going to be very difficult for us in the future in various ways. You all know that we were once a very, very prosperous country in various ways. Not only in technology, in demonstrating a social life, very progressive social life, economically very prosperous nation, and producing almost 20% of the global wealth at that point in time came from this nation, Bharat. But then something happened in the course of history. It is also important to look at how we have contributed to advancement of knowledge at that point in time. There were great scientists, rishis, who through their constant endeavor to find out the truth of the universe, found out many, many findings which are very, very important and novel. Today I was very happy to see one of the book which is written on that topic. But then we cannot always talk about that and then be complacent that we were once great. But you can continue to remain great in the future. Only thing if you understand why that couldn't be sustained, continued to remain at the top of the world in terms of the science and technology. Many of those who are students of history will always know what happens when somebody conquers you. Somebody tries to destroy you on a continuous way to remove the traces of your heritage, to remove the traces of your upbringing, remove the traces of the knowledge. And this happens to many nations, unless you are aware of it. It can happen again. Of course, that is a part of the historical development and how we should prepare ourselves for it. But the most important part is to look at the future. How we are going to become a technologically powerful country in the future. I think that is very important. And I'm very happy today that we have proven through the Chandrayaan-3 launch, landing on the south pole near to the south pole of the moon, in a frugal manner, in a manner which no other country could do, in such a cost-effective manner, and to be the very first country of the world. Though it's not technologically, I will say it is a very important event, but it is very important from a different perspective. For a country like India, compared to many other world powers who have an ability to do the same, and we were able to do it at the very first attempt. We couldn't do, but we sustained on it and then did it on the second attempt. And that the whole of this was done using our own resources, the people, scientists, engineers who worked on it within India. And that too at substantially lower cost than anybody else in the world could ever do. And with not a lower end of technology, it was with a very high-end technology. And this proves one important characteristic of this nation, that if you have a mind to do something, if we have confidence of doing something, then we can continue to remain a leader. And this is what is echoed when all of you watched the landing of Chandrayaan 3, the Vikram landed on the moon at the South Pole, the whole of this country was wedded to the screens of their television broadcasting, or the projections happened, or YouTube channels, or whatever way you could see. It was one of the historically great events in the recent past. This many people looking at it, not only from in this nation, but across the globe. I think this was a great event in that context. Recently, I had an opportunity to visit one of the foreign countries where a professor from an American university, he was telling me, he was a professor of aeronautics there, and he was about to start his first year class for his master's program. And he just opened his class, and that was exactly the time when this Chandrayaan 3 landing was going on. So what he did is, he switched on the internet and put the YouTube channel streaming up in the screen to the students of that university. And he told me that he was so thrilled to see it. The whole of the students in their class was thrilled to see it. It's a top university in US. And when he met me, he embraced me and said that you have made all of us proud. The domain in the aeronautical engineering field, a professor in aeronautics in a reputed university in the US said, telling me that it made them proud. Because we belong to the same class of people who wanted somebody to succeed, to become great. It's not just our own success, it's a success of the whole of the humanity. That's what when Prime Minister Modi ji, when he was watching this, and immediately after following that, he made a speech and he said that this success of Chandrayaan 3 is not just for this nation, it's for the entire humanity. And we are going to be part of this journey of this world for reaching out to the future worlds in the future. While we build Chandrayaan 3, maybe we would go to Mars, Moon, Venus, not today, but maybe many years later down the line. And we have made a great plan now that in the Amrit Kal of the next 25 years, we are going to build our own space station. We are going to send an Indian Bharatiya Vasiko. We will send to moon. He will land on the moon by 2040. And we will conduct continuous human space flights in the future, make an Indian space station called Bharatiya Space Station, and we will operate it. I think all of these are going to happen now. And Honorable Prime Minister has given a vision to all of us. Now that apart, the space domain apart, I think all of you know that why technology is important for a nation. Why science is important for a nation. Why all young people should be interested in science. You may sometimes become a lawyer. Sometimes you may become a teacher. Sometimes you may become a social worker. But unless you know the importance of science and technology in shaping the future of a world, shaping the future of a country to be very powerful, you will not understand that the future cannot be built only by amassing wealth. It cannot be amassed just like that. If you have so much of money, you are not going to be stronger. If you are having such a big army, you are not going to be stronger. If you are a good trader in doing good business, you are not going to be stronger. There is a limit up to which you can go. It's all good to have a lot of wealth. It is good to have a big army. It is always good to have a big trade balance and strong economy. But it's very important to have the power of knowledge, the power of creating new. And this is very important for every nation. Why USA is still a technologically superior country than many other countries? I think we have to go back in history and find out why it happened. It happened because of one of the very important events in the history. They still say the decision to go to moon and land on the moon was the defining moment in the history of the USA. When they decided that they are going to moon, and Kennedy announced that we have decided to go to moon not because it is an easy task, because it is such a difficult and complex task. And that was a great statement. And when they decided that they were not having the capacity or capability to do it. But what happened subsequently is a magic happened in the country. They created laboratories, institutions, educational, research, industries. They all came together to create new technologies. And when that matured over a period of time, the landing on the moon happened. But after the landing on the moon, the glamour associated with that vanished over a period of time. But what did not vanish is the power of creating new things and the technology capability, the institutional capability of educational institutions, research capability of laboratories, capability of the industries to do new things did not vanish. From that, they came up with newer ideas of creating wealth out of technology. Even today, the US has a method by which they can create wealth out of knowledge. And this is very powerful for any nation. Let us look at some of the defining things that will happen in the future. If you really are interested in students of science and technology, it's very important to look at it in that manner. For example, you know agriculture. We were a country so poor once. When we got independence, we were just 35 crore people, but so much of poverty. But today we are 140 crore plus people. We were able to handle poverty substantially. How it happened? It happened because of induction of technology in agriculture. And I don't want to go into the details of that. And various infrastructure development, technology infusion. Today, look at healthcare. The healthcare sector has gone through such a transformation today. Many of the diseases are increasing, but the cure for disease is also equally high. If you look at the average living life of a human being in India, it was just 35 years when we got independence. Today, it stands at 70 plus. Though, if you look at the entire healthcare sector has been growing, but because of various reasons, our average lifespan of an Indian today stands at 70 years plus. That means if a child is born in this country, he is guaranteed to live, most of them, statistically, probabilistically, likely to live up to an age of 70. It's not a small achievement. It's not for this nation, it is for the entire world it has happened. If you look at various other things that has transformed the science and technology in the last 100 years, I don't want to count all of them because I also grown through various things. I had no television I had not seen a television when I was an engineering student. The television came into India that time. And when we were able to see internet on mobile, I was really surprised. Oh, you can see internet on mobile. That was a transformative thinking at that point in time. Today, we don't wonder about it. It becomes so natural for you. The technology growth in communication, technological excellence in biotechnology research, India becoming one of the leading generic pharma producer of the world. I think all of this, and software exporter in the commercial sector, I think many, many things. Automobile manufacturer of the world, though the original technology for automobile came from outside, today we are one of the leading manufacturer of automobiles in this country. Space, atomic energy, defense sector really show substantial progress in the last many years. But then what is going to happen in the next another 20, 25 years, maybe 50 years, 100 years? I think this is very important. And what are the changes that are going to happen in this world when technology comes in the hand of many, many other people? And if we do not put our efforts on. And it happens only when we focus on many, many things. Today, the focus is very visible. In the strategizing technological growth is very, very visible by the actions of the government. For example, I will tell you, electronics industry. I think we have taken an important decision today that India should become a hub of electronics manufacturing, high-end electronics manufacturing, which was not the case earlier. And we have announced a subsidy of almost 75,000 crores for industries to come and establish facilities in India and convert India to a chip manufacturing hub. I think it is a case of classical missed opportunity. I think that cannot happen in the future. We also have to become manufacturer of defense equipments and possibly an exporter in the future. Today we are already an exporter of defense equipments and manufacturing. I think possibly the LCA class of aircrafts are going to be manufactured in India, and we are also planning to export it and become a producer of fighter aircrafts and exporting them. I think these were things that couldn't ever be thought in the past. In the space sector, we are seeing a new emergence of new actors. The space sector is now opened up, and we are telling that private companies can come in and work in building rockets, building satellites, building applications, and anything in space sector you are free to do. And we are going to support them. We are going to encourage them, and we are going to build economy around new innovations. I think this is very, very important. And there are many other new areas where we must invest. I can tell you that we cannot be leader in everything, but we can be leader in some of these areas. And unless we focus on those areas where we can make an impact, we are not going to be a technologically powerful nation. And our power is not going to be used for conquering our neighbors and expanding our borders. I think that's not the power that we are talking about. The power we are talking about today here are the ability to take decisions on our own, stand on a strong foot of our own and say that we want like this and not the other way. And we want to communicate to the entire globe for the peaceful coexistence, which is going to be useful for all of us to progress, the entire humanity to progress, to live in a place where everybody in the world will like to come and stay in this country. If a person of the world, the entire world says that I would like to go to India and live, and this is the most peaceful and prosperous country of the world, then we are the leader, world leader. I think this is something that we want to achieve in the future, maybe 25 years down the line, maybe 50 years down the line, but we have to start working on it. And this is not going to happen unless we marry technology and science and technology. Are we really ready for it? I think this is a very important question that are being answered in various ways. One is connecting our academics with industry. It's very, very important. I think today the connect is still very weak. Possibly some of you may go to academic research, we may work within laboratories, do some fundamental research. The research may be published as a publishing material in journals. That's not enough. The research that you do in universities and institutions should go to industries. You should be used for product innovation. You should go to markets immediately. You should generate revenue. And this revenue that is built in the industry should feed into the further research. I think this is a chain that we have to create in every domain. And not to buy foreign technology and do it on our own, but you must create our own wealth through the use of research in laboratories. We have a host of research laboratories in the country. Look at CSIR. They have almost 50 plus research labs in various areas. Department of Science and Technology has, Atomic Energy has, Space has, Defense Research Organization has. So India is full of such research laboratories, but their industry connect is still weak. The industry connects hundreds of universities and engineering colleges, science institutions in this country to industries still very weak. I think this is something that we need to correct and then progress. The focus on new education policy today is to build up that capability. Build up that capability to encourage research and build the research outcome directly to the field. I think many things are happening in this sector today. And the government is very much focused on converting knowledge creation into wealth creation. And this is the essence of what is science policy that is being looked at today. I think the work which we have to do in the country for the next 25 years is to inspire young people to stay in this country, work for this country, develop new knowledge in laboratories that are created in this country, create possibly new labs, establishments, and connect them to industries. And we are looking at leaders who will do this in the next generation. And this has to happen. And I don't find anything wrong with you going to a foreign country and taking a PhD, doing a postdoctoral, or you can amass whatever knowledge you want to amass, but come back to this country. Come back here and contribute to creating the new nation. And once you are able to do that, I think we can make a big change in the cultural landscape of this country, where wealth is created out of knowledge. For young children, students, my dear students who are here, assembled here, and many of them have fantastic ideas. If you really talk to young people, they will tell you, and they will flood you with questions, they will flood you with ideas. And I have seen many of them, if they mentor for some sufficiently long time, I think they will be able to make that big change and impact in the technology fronts. I think that is what VIPA is doing. And this is what exactly these Sammelans are intended to do. When you showcase the work of great people, great laboratories in this nation to the front, in front of the young people, I want all of them to get inspired to take up this as a career goal and then do something for the nation. For yourself as well. I don't say that you should do everything for the nation alone. It is for self-expansion that you are doing all of this. You are studying science for pleasure. Do you see it as a burden when you study mathematics? When you study physics and chemistry and new sciences, it becomes a tough thing for you, or it becomes a pleasure for you? I think this is what is the big question. If educational system makes it as a joyful journey through the colleges and universities, then there will be a big change in the way you people study, work, etc. I think this is very important in the new education policy, that the whole change in approach to learning has to come. It should not become compulsory for you to study mathematics if you are not interested to study mathematics. Everybody need not be an expert in mathematics. Everybody need not be an expert in physics and chemistry. But if you need physics and chemistry for you to become to satisfy your goals ultimately, then you must study it very well. I think this is how the whole of the education has to change in this country. We do not want to create a master degree holder in mathematics to do a carpenter job or a driver's job. No. The whole of the educational sector need to have this change. And only those who have the real talent, real interest, they should focus on the type of education which is needed. I'm not telling that we must all become technocrats. We also need people like lawyers, doctors, research scientists, social scientists, and many other fields which are going to emerge. One of the important area that is emerging is artificial intelligence. I think all of you know artificial intelligence, no? Machine learning. Many things are talked about artificial intelligence. Everywhere you go, you talk about artificial intelligence. Recently, I had an opportunity to listen to Harari, who speak about the Sapiens, no? You have read that book? Yeah. So he gave a talk recently at one of the international conference. He was talking about possibly his next book is yet to be released, but he gave a talk for almost half an hour. What will happen when artificial intelligence comes in our midst? Is artificial intelligence already there amongst you? And possibly you are not aware of it. That's the presence of artificial intelligence amongst you today. It is listening all what I am speaking. It is listening to all of you who make an impact on it. It is characterizing you. It is marking you. It is classifying you. And it is defining you what you are beyond what you know about yourself. I think this is the situation today about artificial intelligence. If you have a Google connected to your mobile, then all your information of your search data, your behavioral, etc. aspects are being collected and analyzed. Now slowly AI will capture the entire way in which we work and move in the world. And now Noel Harari predicts when AI becomes so powerful, everything can be done by AI. AI-driven life will be your life, and the AI will know what you are going to do better than you yourself know about you. And slowly what will happen is that the whole of this world will be controlled by AI. And one difference between human beings and a machine which has an AI, it's not computer alone. Everything will be artificial intelligence driven. Your cars will be so, your mobile phones will be, your kitchen, your television, your power lighting system at the home, your garden, your plants, your traffic, your signaling street lights, your satellites, television, programs, everything will be AI driven. And what will happen at that point in time is that the human beings and AI will be two poles apart. He predicts that something very important is going to happen, that AI will take over humanity, he says. And he predicts that it will happen in 20 to 40 years of time. And there is a danger sitting in AI. Though all of you can criticize it, it's going to be, he is such a fellow that he always finds negative side of technology. But he also brings to us one important element of technology, that if you do not handle technology carefully, and if you do not create people with a consciousness, then technology can be very, very dangerous. Advanced technology can be equally dangerous. And AI will take over you at that point in time if you are not careful. Because AI doesn't have something that human beings have. They have a mind, they have an intelligence, they have memories. And AI is nothing but memories. And memories analyzed and patterns injected and then operations carried out on all of this. But it doesn't have something which we say human beings have a conscience. I don't know whether other living creatures have similar conscience. And the act that we do are primarily driven by our intelligence, but it's also inherently driven by our consciousness. And this conscience being absent, it can create the destruction of the entire race of human beings. And if you are not careful in building future AI machines, this is what he predicts. But all of us have to be careful while we talk about growth of technology. We should also be equally careful about building dangerous technologies and create harm for ourselves. Let us not worry about AI. Let us also equally concerned about climate and weather changes, about creating better living conditions for human beings on Earth, using cleaner energy, sustainable energy, supporting the human race which is going to grow continuously from now on and until it becomes stabilized. We must be able to support with water, air, food, clean water, clean air, not just water and air, equitable distribution, minimizing gaps between wealthy and non-wealthy, availability of health and healthcare across humanity in a better manner than ever. Affordability is going to be a very important question in the years to come. Because affordability is going to decide how long you are going to live in the future. Today, all of us can live up to 70 years irrespective of what type of income you have. But in the future, it is not going to be. Those who are very rich will live for 200 years, and those who are not that rich will die at 50 years or 70 years. This is how the technology is going to happen. Because if you are very rich, you can replace your organ very easily, because additive manufacturing or manufactured organs are coming, and you can replace your liver if it is not functioning. If you replace your heart if it is not functioning, all of this will happen. And they will live forever. Sometimes you may replace most of your arms, hands, if it gets anything bad with the mechatronic hand and built up intelligence on it. We have actually built one leg, amputee leg recently with a computer controlled actuator, which is beautifully walking like a regular human being. It's going to transform the way we look at human life itself. One of the important goal of science and technology is to extend human life. I think the medical progress and healthcare, better living conditions have extended up to 70. It may grow up to 80, 90, not beyond that. But beyond that, it is possible only if with advanced technologies. And it's going to happen. Until your brain is dead, you can live much longer. Even your memory can be copied back to a computer, and the memory can be rewritten on a repaired brain later. Possibly you will live as a memory in a computer, and you will still feel that I am living, even if you are physically dead. And all of these transformative technologies are going to change the way we look at the humanity itself. So there is an exciting time for the new generation to look at the entire sector of science and technology development and your ability to contribute in emerging new technologies. We should not forget the fact that in 1880 or some scientists said, everything that can be discovered has already been discovered. One great scientist at that point in time declared. But today we know, as scientists and technocrats, we know very little about the whole of the universe. Our knowledge today is very, very limited. And this is making us very, very humble. And there is so much of things that we need to know. As Rishi already said, the universe is so vast and big, and you are not going to understand it with the sensory perceptions of human beings. And it can only be understood by the sense of understanding which is beyond the human capability that we know today. It is the truth. If you look at in the macrocosm, the atomic structure of the materials, you know today the atomic structure of the material is, though we say it's well understood, but if you really go deeper, you will understand it is not well understood even today. We do not know the string theory. We know the string theory is the highest end of the structure of the materials. Even today, we can ask the question, what is the string made of? I don't know. There is no answer. The fundamental particle physics still finding out newer and newer particles every day when they conduct the collision experiments, the large collider. And still newer theories are emerging. If you look at the macrocosm, the entire universe, you do not know where it is going and when it is going to end. We only know it is being created and created. Every second, thousands of stars are colliding and thousands and millions of stars are being created from nowhere. And it is ever expanding universe. And our ability to understand the whole universe is still very, very small. Though we are telling that we have found out so much and we know everything about the Big Bang onwards to the future, but those true scientists realize that the knowledge is very limited. We know about only the universe that we are living in. Whether there are other universes, we still do not know. So all of this makes us very humble in understanding the science and technology. But whatever a human being can perceive in his lifetime, that makes him very rich and satisfied. And that's the pleasure of understanding science and technology. So I invite all of you to the beauty of science and technology. And I have a fortune to meet all of you today and talk this much to you. Thank you so much for this opportunity and wish you all the very best in your future. Thank you.